Welcome to the Common Man Football Show. My name is James Cobern, and today's episode is the top 5 most overrated wide receivers in the 2018 NFL Draft Class based on analytics. And by overrated, I mean these are players that are ranked fairly high, whether it's WalterFootball.com. Some of these players are ranked as the number 1 wide receiver. Some of these players are even ranked as the 3rd, 4th wide receiver at times who don't deserve to be 3rd or 4th, let alone 10th or 15th or 20th even. So we're going to be looking at these 5 based on 3 main metrics. The first metric being passing yardage, market share, production. This basically takes into account the receiving yardage divided by the team's receiving yardage. So if a wide receiver has 1,000 yards in a season and the team has 4,000 yards, you divide 1,000 by 4,000, you get 25% as their market share score. You take that number, you compare it to every wide receiver since the 1969 NFL Draft Class, and boom, you got a metric to compare players, to look at where the trends are, where the correlations are for high-quality players at the NFL level. Second to that is the age score. Age is very important when it comes to wide receiver upside. The younger a player is, the more likely they are to hit high-quality outcomes. And that's just a general rule at almost every position, but it's the same when it comes to the wide receiver position. And then the last thing we're going to look at is the speed score. Some of the guys in this list actually have fairly decent speed scores, or at least above average speed scores. But the bottom line is the speed score is a part of this grading as well, because you need to at least have an above average speed score to be considered a guy with potential to be a very special player. And they could do the vertical and the broad jump or the short roll and 3-cone to have really good explosion numbers or really good flexibility numbers. But the bottom line is based on the preliminary stuff that we have from NFLDraftScout.com, we can kind of come to some conclusions about their athleticism based on just the speed score alone. So at least we'll know if they need to improve on it or if they need to improve on other numbers or come into the combine with better numbers. So the bottom line is those are the 3 metrics we're going to use when it comes to grading these guys. And let's get to the list. At number 5, we have Lazard, wide receiver out of Iowa State. Based on his height and weight, he's 6'4", 223 pounds with a 4.58 40 according to NFLDraftScout.com. The reason why he's number 5 in this list is because Lazard, with some rankings, is ranked as the top 4 wide receiver, and he just hasn't done anything to deserve that type of adoration by certain rankings and certain sites. Based on his production, he has 64.78 out of 100 when it comes to his passing yards market share production. That's not 3-time Pro Bowl level, it's not 5-time Pro Bowl level, it's not even All-Pro level. And in terms of his age, only has a 71.78 overall age score, which isn't bad, but it isn't exactly amazing either, and only has a 64.14 speed score, which is not really that impressive either. The bottom line is, when it comes to Lazard, is that yes, he's a guy who has the potential to be a sleeper. Like, that's what he should be, is a sleeper. But most of these rankings just have him way too high, kind of cashing in on things that he just hasn't done yet. So despite the fact that he does have some positives in terms of his age and in terms of his speed, he's just someone that I just don't think should be ranked this high. There's other wide receivers that should be ranked higher than him, and that's why he's number 5 on this list. At number 4, we have Deon, Cain, wide receiver out of Clemson. And based on actual factuals in terms of height and weight, he's 6'2", 200 pounds with a 4.5 40 according to NFLDraftScout.com. And he's way too. He's just really overrated. There's lots of people who have him either as a top 5 or top 10 wide receiver in most rankings. That's just way too high. He hasn't really done anything to earn that type of reputation. He's basically a highly touted high school recruit who is just now going to break out. But the big issue why he's so overrated is just based on production. Only scored 29.25 out of 100 in terms of total passing yardage market share production in terms of, passing yardage market share production, which doesn't hit 3-time Pro Bowl level, doesn't hit 5-time Pro Bowl level, and doesn't hit All-Pro level, nor does it even hit starter level. Deon Cain has yet to have a season at Clemson where he hit starter level production at the NFL level. That's scary. He has a decent age score at 90.88 out of 100, and his speed score, though, is kind of average-ish. 54.67 out of 100 is not exactly. It's basically Mike Williams level speed score. I understand there's lots of people that are going to go, well, Deon Cain's going to break out this year, and Deon Cain's going to do this, and blah, 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 blah. And we've heard a ton about Deon Cain, but he just isn't that type of guy. He should not be ranked as high as he's ranked. He should not be considered a guy in early day 3. He's basically a project wide receiver at this point. If he comes in this season and has a much more productive year, and we go, wow, Deon Cain really showed us this year, great. But until he does that, there's no way, there's no reason why he should be ranked as high as he is according to most rankings. It's just ludicrous. It's just ranking him based on what high school rankings were, and that is why he's the 4th most overrated wide receiver in the 2018 class. At number 3, we have Jester Way, wide receiver out of Pittsburgh. When it comes to height and weight, he's 6'2", 205 pounds with a 4.59 40, according to NFLDraftScout.com. And he's a guy who isn't exactly extremely overrated, but he is someone that I've seen top 10 in most wide receiver rankings. He's a guy that who people have put over guys like Anthony Miller Jr., put over guys like Michael Gallup, and put over guys like Richie James even. There's no reason why you should put him over those types of guys, and here's why. Based on his production, only scored 63.65 out of 100, which doesn't hit 3-time Pro Bowl level, doesn't hit 5-time Pro Bowl level, and doesn't hit All-Pro level. On top of the fact that his age score is only 41.44 out of 100, which doesn't hit any high-quality age sort of areas of things. And when it comes to his speed score, only scored 36.97 out of 100, which is extremely below average speed for his size. So 6'2", is not exactly the biggest wide receiver ever, and having a 36.97 speed score just doesn't help his case out at all. The bottom line is with Jester Way is he's a wide receiver that should not be considered a late 4th rounder or anything like that. Until he improves his production, he shouldn't really be considered much of anything at this point. But the fact that he is, the fact that people are putting him over other wide receivers that are just much better in terms of data, in terms of just lots of different things, is why he's on this list. So as much as there are some Jester Way fans out there, even people that go, "Oh, he's not overrated," yes, he is. He's not someone that should be considered as high on most people's rankings as he is. And I think as the season starts, or once the actual draft happens, people will finally realize that he was overrated after all, as he becomes possibly a late day 3 to not even drafted type of wide receiver based on his data and also somewhat based on his film. At number 2, we have Parris Campbell, wide receiver at Ohio State. He, according to NFLDraftScout.com, he's 6 foot 205 with a 4.52 40. And he's extremely overrated because I've seen him as the top 5, top 4, even top 3 ranked wide receiver on CBS Sports, on Walter Football. There's tons of rankings that I've seen Parris Campbell as a really high player. And most of the people cite, well, teams are really buzzing about him. They think this is the year he's going to break out. But the bottom line is you don't rank a guy this high based on this. Based on his passing yards, market share, production, he only scored 6.59 out of 100 in terms of his passing yardage market share production. And that is just, that's not good. That doesn't hit starter level, it doesn't hit Pro Bowl level, it doesn't hit All-Pro level. As much as he has a 96.85 age score, and he has a 69.76 speed score, which is at least above average, that production is just not getting it done, guys. Parris Campbell is someone that should be considered a sleeper. He should be considered someone that you should expect maybe good things this year, not someone that you should already have as a top 5 or top 4 wide receiver. That's just ludicrous based on the stuff that he already put on paper. So if Parris Campbell comes out this year, shocks everybody, and has a really good year, then hey, I was wrong. But The bottom line is you shouldn't be ranking a wide receiver with a 6.59 production score in the top 5 of any wide receiver ranking without any sort of basis for it. So this is why this stuff happens. Early in the season, we rank these wide receivers really high because they're breakout candidates, when the bottom line is that your ranking should be based on what they've proven to do already, not what they could do potentially. That's why they're considered sleepers. That's, Parris Campbell is someone that should be considered a sleeper. And because he isn't a sleeper, and because that production score is so low, that's the main reason why he is the second most overrated wide receiver in the 2018 NFL draft class. And the number 1 most overrated wide receiver in the 2018 NFL draft class is Calvin Ridley, wide receiver out of Alabama. And before people pick up their pitchforks in Alabama and start to come for me, get on their bass boats with their dogs and start hunting, let me explain some of the reasons for why this is. Based on height and weight, he's 6'1", 188 pounds with a 4.4 840, according to NFLDraftScout.com. He is the most overrated wide receiver because he has been seen as the number 1 wide receiver or the number 2 wide receiver on most rankings out there when it comes to wide receivers coming into 2018. But based on his production, he only scored 67.42 out of 100, which isn't 3-time Pro Bowl level, isn't 5-time Pro Bowl level, and isn't even All-Pro level when it comes to his market share production. And this is his best season, even adjusting for, a couple missed games as well. But the big thing that hurts him is his age score. His age score on draft day will only be 20.27 out of 100. That is really, really, really old, guys. Like, really old. And this isn't a new thing. We've been talking about this for a while in terms of Calvin Ridley's age score. But the bottom line is he just doesn't have the production indicative of a high-quality player. His age score is not that impressive either. It's like really bad. It doesn't hit Pro Bowl level, doesn't hit All-Pro level in terms of what the trends have been at the position in the last 20 years. And when it comes to his speed score, he only scored 41.08 out of 100 in terms of his overall speed score. And the main reason why is because a 4.48 40 is impressive, but that's impressive if you're, say, 6'1", 215 pounds. Calvin Ridley is only 188 pounds. He's 6'1", 188. So 4.48 is just not that impressive when you look at how big he is, on top of what his other sort of athleticism traits could be. And the other sort of issue is that everybody knows who's watched film at Alabama knows that our Darius Stewart was the best wide receiver at Alabama, last year. It wasn't Calvin Ridley, it was our Darius Stewart. And the bottom line is, when it comes to Calvin Ridley, is he just doesn't have the production indicative of a high-quality NFL player. He doesn't have the age indicative of a high-quality NFL player. And based on the athleticism scores that are available right now, he doesn't have any above-average athleticism traits just based on what we have available right now at the position. So Calvin Ridley is not someone that should be considered the top wide receiver in this class. He shouldn't be the second best wide receiver in this class. He shouldn't be even the 5th best wide receiver in this class, because of just these sort of issues in terms of his overall profile. There are just better wide receivers in this class with better indicators in terms of production, with better indicators in terms of age, and with even better indicators when it comes to just athleticism for size. And that is why Calvin Ridley is the most overrated wide receiver in the 2018 NFL draft class, because based on his entire profile, he is someone that should not even touch the top 10 of wide receivers in this class. And this concludes the top 5 most overrated wide receivers in the 2018 NFL draft class based on analytics. My name is James Cobern. You can find my work at draftcoburn.wordpress.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at Geometrics. And if you like this content and you want more content like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Share this with people as well if you want to share this. And let me know, who do you think are the top 5 most overrated wide receivers in the 2018 NFL draft class. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.